Ever curious what you'd get if you paid a high-end coach the big bucks to work with you one-on-one? I'll show you exactly what I do for clients, and it may surprise you. Most people who hire a coach are highly motivated. They are ready to focus on their fitness and take massive action with someone they can trust. They say, give me the special stuff. Let's get started with the secret sauce. But what they don't realize is that in almost 100% of cases, they are paying me, or any other coach for that matter, to hold them relentlessly accountable to the fundamentals. That's right, the fundamentals. Track food consistently and objectively. That means protein, calories, macros. Track your body progress consistently and objectively. That means photos, measurements, body weight, and body composition. That means tracking training results consistently and objectively. That means looking at your weights, your reps, your times, your sets, your effort. Or tracking movement consistently and objectively. How many steps and how much activity did you get outside of the gym today? And last but not least, tracking your sleep consistently and objectively. Hours and quality with a device if possible. But there's one more thing that I follow closely too. I need to have consistent visual feedback on what their training looks like. That's right, they need to video themselves lifting weights and share it with me. If you track your food, your body, your training results, your steps, and your sleep, then it is almost impossible to fail. But where you can miss the mark is if you aren't pushing your training hard enough in the right places. So a client intake would often look like a 5 to 7 day log of all the things that I've listed. I would also ask for a video of the final set of each of their working sets in their training that week. What I'm looking for in these videos is visual evidence that they are taking their workout sets close enough to failure to see results and progress. An experienced coach can watch just about any athlete in the gym on their final set and know if they're hitting the effort target. Here's exactly what I look for. How fast are the final reps compared to the first reps? When we are near failure, you should see consistently slower reps than the first few on a set. How's the form on those final reps? I look for when athletes can no longer maintain the correct form, or they can no longer move the weight. Form failure is the place to call a set quits. If you never break form, then you know a set is done when you literally can't move it anymore, or you're within one rep of failure. This would be called absolute failure. How is range of motion? Every exercise has a sticking point. This is where the required force in the movement is toughest for your body's unique leverage points. When athletes get close to or reach failure, it will always occur at the sticking point. For example, the squat sticking point is usually just above parallel. People don't fail at the very, very bottom of squats, and they don't typically fail at the very, very top of squats. You'll see the velocity of their squat slow way down and form failure start to happen right around these sticking points. What about bro reps, or those reps that are not quite completed? There's a buzz in the fitness industry right now about lengthened partials as a strength and muscle growth secret. Basically what this means is that even if you can't get your chin fully over the bar on your last couple pull-ups, the reps are still worthwhile if you fully stretch your arms at the bottom. And this episode is being sponsored by Transparent Labs, where I get my grass-fed whey protein. I'm gonna show you right now as we jump into a clip of how to take this protein, which is delicious, all of their flavors are, and put it into a Ninja Creamy recipe. That is high protein ice cream that is low cal. Check it out. What if I told you this had 40 grams of protein and less than 300 calories? You could have it every single day.
"24 hours later."
So jump down into the description below. There are links there for Transparent Labs to grab your discounted protein with my code Marcus. What's their lifting face look like? At reps near failure, because of strain, blood pressure, and pressure built up in your abdomen, we start to see redness in the face, and often blood vessels in the neck and the head become much more prominent. You're going to see some interesting faces, and if they're at Planet Fitness, the athlete might be in danger of grunting too loud and setting off the lunk alarm. If your face remains stoic without any color or pressure changes, then it's a good sign that you aren't near failure, unless you're an absolute freak of nature. I think we all know that we have to push ourselves hard in the gym to see growth. We have also heard that we need to take more sets closer to failure to build muscle and strength. But now you know what it looks like to get closer to failure. That's why filming yourself lifting is so valuable. You begin to see what effort looks like objectively in your body with your movements. Just because something is hard doesn't mean you're actually getting close to failure. So how does effort get written? With that in mind, it's a good time to revisit 2 simple guides on how to quantify effort in written training programs. These 2 methods are rate of perceived exertion and repetitions in reserve. The purpose of both of these methods is to approximate how close to failure, form, or absolute failure that you are. We're aiming to get within 0 to 5 reps from failure on all of your working sets, with the majority of them within 2 to 3 reps from failure. The research evidence says that as long as you are within this range from failure, regardless of how many repetitions you perform, whether it's 5 or 30 reps, you will still see meaningful strength and muscle growth. Reps in reserve, also abbreviated as RIR, starts on a scale of 0 reps in reserve and continues upward. 0 reps in reserve means you went to form or absolute failure. 1 RIR means you had 1 rep in reserve or 1 rep left in the tank, and so forth all the way down 2, 3, 4, and 5. If you have more than 5 reps left in the tank, then your working set is not at a sufficient level of effort to really get maximum results. Now, for rate of perceived exertion, abbreviated as RPE, we start at a scale of 10 at the top. 10 RPE means that you went to form failure or absolute failure. This is the maximum amount of effort. Then we go down to 9 RPE. This suggests that you had 1 rep left in the tank. So that you can see that these 2 scales are pretty much analogous. They're just 2 different ways to talk about the same thing. And remember that the weight that you lift this week or this day doesn't always correlate to the same RIR and RPE week after week. You may see that 100 pounds on the back squat this week feels like an RPE of 8, but next week, because you got stronger, it's an RPE of 7. If you see that the same weight gets consistently harder week after week, this might be a sign that you're actually pushing a little bit too hard and you're under recovering outside the gym with your food, with your sleep, with your rest, and your steps. So let's combine the use of these 2 scales with the physical characteristics of effort that I talked about, and you can get much more accurate at knowing how close to failure you are. Then, week over week, you can make absolutely sure you're bringing sufficient effort to your training sets for more strength and growth. So go film yourself today. Take a video of your final working set, tag me at MarcusPhilly, share it on social media, and show off those final reps of high effort.